apparently something is wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You're recording me?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's Bad Decisions, where we watch people make
bad decisions.
It's your boy Sher.
It's your man Jay.
What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory?
Why you gotta fight with me at Cheesecake? You know I love to go there.
Like, it's not like it's McDonald's, and McDonald's isn't even cheap anymore. I mean, to me, it's crazy that, like, you'll go on a date at a small, nonchalant bar, right? And normally it will cost, like, what, $5 or $10? But then when you take someone to Applebee's or the Cheesecake Factory, they're acting like, whoa, that's a terrible date. Like, that's awful. Like, I'm still confused on the logic. I'm like, so you'll accept a small, crappy bar, but Cheesecake Factory and Applebee's it seem as bad. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I'm wondering, where you going at? You paying $5 to $10? Where's this?
For drinks?
Oh, you mean like $5 to $10 per drink?
Yeah.
All right. What about the food that this, I doubt that the woman in this video would have accepted a dive bar.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her, because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree.
If she's saying Cheesecake Factory is not good enough for her because she's so amazingly beautiful, I doubt she would accept.
Oh, yeah, I'm just talking about in general, because this is not just her, but a lot of people have said stuff about Cheesecake Factory and places like Applebee's that were once considered fine date spots, especially for a first date where you barely know a person, and now it's considered like the bottom of the barrel, and I'm like, these are just average spots for regular people. Most people are regular people.
Yeah, I definitely think that Cheesecake Factory is fine. I watched a different content creator on this topic. Yeah. He was saying that he doesn't believe in paying for the woman at all on the first date.
Ooh.
For me, I'm like, that's kind of difficult to do, honestly. Unless it's summertime, maybe y'all go out for like a walk or something, or I don't know, ice cream or something, which that's going to depend on the woman you're taking out. Because a woman like her, based upon this video, is not going for that. If you're like, hey, let's go for a walk, she's like, what I will say, I'll give both of these people credit. I'll give them both credit for handling the conversation in a cordial way. Neither one of them got nasty, which I didn't expect him to get nasty. He kept his composure. He kept his frame. She didn't get nasty either. I'll give her credit for that. Now, she was nasty, in my opinion, to put him on live.
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh, yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
yes. Let's talk about it.
That's like,
I don't think she was nasty, but she sure was rude.
She was rude. You're right. She was rude.
So it's like, to me, she wasn't nasty, but she was passive aggressive and condescending.
Absolutely, I agree.
So I mean, it's
true. Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, it is better than her being like outright like vulgar, but like I mean, it's still an L. Like if I were to see it written on a piece of paper, it's still an F. It might not be a low F, maybe a high F, maybe a 59.
Okay,
but it's still an F.
You know, I like the way you put that, because I think I was conflating the two things. She wasn't vulgar or nasty, is what I'm trying to say, but she also was rude.
Yeah, he
wasn't rude. He handled it actually probably the best way.
Very cordial.
Very, very calm. Oh, we can talk about this. Even like engaging with the people on live,
like a business meeting.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, but I can tell he's the kind of guy. But going back to the live thing, the fact she put him on live, like you said, is rude. But I like that she did it, because it shows the entire internet and whoever's watching what her true colors are. And it is somewhat of an example of what a lot of guys go through now. Not all guys, but a lot of guys go through now.
Yes.
Now, here's the thing, right? Part of me was like, that's great. This will expose, what's going on and make people wake up to what's going on, but not really. It's not. We know. I'm gonna keep it real. One side is gonna say, not all women are like this. Obviously, not all women are like this.
Yeah.
And the other side, which I'm unfortunately think is the larger side, is gonna probably agree with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shouldn't have took her to Cheesecake. We deserve better, and this, that, and the third.
Should have been rude, Chris.
Oh, yo, my gosh. So I just have I have no hope.
To be honest, I like what you said before, right? That this actually exposes how bad of dates that some guys actually do go on.
Yeah.
Guys, I just got back from a Hinge date. Why am I doing this to myself? We are sitting at the restaurant. Seems very nice. Not a catfish. Things are going well. And the waitress comes over. He said, I'm gonna take the burger. And do you want some cheese on your burger? And he asked, is this gonna be extra? And she says, yes, it's $3 extra. And he said, okay, then never mind. I'm like, what the actual And he's like, oh my God, you have to pay extra for everything these days. And I'm like, yeah, it's New York City. I just paid the bill and walked out of the restaurant. So I texted him, the check is taken care of. You should have gotten the cheese. And I blocked him.
I think this is good exposure for people who, like, let's say they have old school parents, and they might tell them about some of the experiences they have. And, you know, parents are the first one to say, like, oh, where are you finding this person at? I've never seen that person. I've never contacted that person, even though I'm 60 plus years old and haven't been on the dating market since you were probably 5.
Right. You know, I read some articles, like, I don't want to get too far off topic here, so I'm trying to keep this succinct. Some very popular artists just dropped a new album, and then there was a critic, or I read an article that was critiquing this album, and that article was talking about how he's now a misogynist.
Yeah.
And about how just a whole bunch of talking points you would hear from
an extreme side.
Yeah. And I wonder what those extreme sides think when they see these kind of videos, if they see them. What excuse do they have?
That is good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I think they do what most people who only want to see what they want to see. They just ignore it.
Yeah.
They just ignore it, and they say, like we said before, that, oh, okay, this never happens, but, you know, blah, 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 you know. Listen, I'm not going to say that this woman is unattractive, but it's not like she's Beyonce either. And I think that people's dating entitlement has gotten way out of proportion. If you ever watched an old school movie, right? Where was the first date normally? A movie theater that was what, $5, $8? It was something average, common, really didn't cost too much, and sometimes it was a walk for the park. Now it's like people are expecting a first date to be like a wedding proposal. Like, it's got to be at a high-class restaurant, you know, there's got to be a high-class waiter. I got to have the view of the sunset. It's a first date, guys. You're just getting to know people.
Exactly. So, you know, to add to that, right, because you're spot on with that, I think what the situation here is, she wasn't out to get to know the guy.
At all.
I think she was out to take from him, extract resources, not to get to know him.
All
There's
made
nothing
up.
wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well, look at my planner, where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you.
Which is why she didn't respect his time and made her wait in the car for an hour while she was doing her work.
Which is my number one pet peeve.
I know you hate that.
I hate that.
I know, and it's mad disrespectful.
I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs.
I understand.
For an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment. And that is not possible.
And that's why I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, you know, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice, fancy restaurant as Aria. Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing.
Like, I can let it go for a certain like amount of time, depending on how the interaction is. She's like, oh, hey, yeah, I'll be an hour late. Let me know ahead of time. Come on up, which I get it. You don't know him, he's a strange guy.
Yeah.
Don't let him upstairs, or not strange guy, but you don't know him, he's a stranger.
Yeah.
I get the fact that she wouldn't want him to invite him up to her apartment. I get that for safety reasons.
Yeah.
But at least let him know I'm going to be an hour. Maybe let's postpone it or whatever, right? She had no regard for his time. And the way she was speaking, it was as if she put herself above him to me. Like, oh, I'm not getting out this car. Yeah, sit back in the car. Like, she was the prize, so to speak, which people love to say now. So, yeah, that's why I think that, you know, she expected so much from the dates because that's what she was out for. Just the experience.
It was a foodie call.
A foodie call.
It was a foodie call.
It's a foodie call.
He was at the cash register, and that was pretty much it. I think the saddest part of the video is the fact that the guy was actually a genuine guy, and he was actually confused to what was going on. Like if you could see him, like he's like logically trying to figure out what's going on. Like he can't figure out that some people just want to go out there for food. One thing I saw, and I want every man who's watching this to know, never explain yourself to someone who's trying to gaslight you. Because during this conversation, you'll see at some point in time where he's trying to like explain himself and why he's doing this. She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows why she said what she said. She knows why she doesn't want to eat at Cheesecake Factory. Why are you explaining yourself to someone who honestly doesn't care? You know?
Do you think he was doing that to make a point to her live?
Oh, to our audience.
I'm wondering. Do you think he was doing that, or he was just doing what you're saying?
It seemed like he was actually genuinely confused. So he was trying to like talk the problem out like a normal adult, which you're supposed to do if you're an adult. And like she was just gaslighting him at that point in time, where she was like, "Oh, well, I didn't," or you know.
I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least, you know.
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
Well, I mean, like even like when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay,
I don't know you.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Okay. When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
again. I don't know there yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
So
Nonsense.
It was nonsense.
This is one conversation that I think really needs to be had. She brought up something earlier. She said courting and being a gentleman. She brought that up. People don't realize that that's a two-way street. People like to look at the past and they'll cherry pick the points of the past that they like and say, oh, why don't you do this like my grandfather? Why don't you do this like my grandmother? Why don't you do this like so-and-so? The thing about it is that, like, okay, back in the day when people were being a gentleman, the woman also had a responsibility too.
She was being a lady. She was being a lady.
Yeah, she was being a lady. So that means, number one, she was being polite. Number two, she was being timely, right? And then number three, let's say if there was like water on the table, right? There was a jug of water. What would she do? She'd pour the water out for him. She'd make him his plate. She would make the food.
Careful, man. Careful.
There was a balance. No, I'm just saying.
I'm being tongue in cheek. I mean, I agree with you. I'm just saying careful because that making plate of food thing is a contentious point of debate. I know.
You can't have one without the other. And people are getting mad or why you're not getting one is because they're not getting the other.
Right.
If you want, and listen, I agree with being a gentleman on the date. You know, it's cool, open up doors and stuff like that. I don't have an issue with that. But at the same time, it has to be reciprocated. Even in the past, right, when the guy made all the money, I'm not saying that's right. When the guy made all the money, what did he do? He didn't spend all the money on himself. Most of the money went to what? His wife and his kids. So there was a balance. There's a balance to everything, right? Yeah. You can't just have it one side your way and expect it to go right. Why would you even want that? That's the worst. The worst kind of deal you can ever make is when the other party gets absolutely nothing. Because what's going to tie them to the deal at the end of the day? Nothing. Because they're getting nothing.
Once again, the modern dating landscape to me seems just abysmal, and I'm still curious to see what the long-term consequences of Gen Z and millennial dating are going to look like 10, 20, 30 years from now. We're already starting to see some consequences of what Gen X dating dynamics look like.
They're horrible, bro.
It's bad.
It's terrible. It's like, you guys ever seen Aquaman? And there's a part of Aquaman, he goes into the trench and it's just black and dark. And then there's like bugs that pop out with crazy eyes. That's what the dating landscape looks like.
I was like, where are you going with this?
It looks abysmal is what I'm trying to say.
That is scary. Yeah, it is abysmal. And it's like, I mean, it's just all out. There's no balance. Right now, it seems like the dating market is skewed towards one direction. I'm not going to say which. Y'all can do the math on that one. Take a guess. And so, yeah, it just seems like it's way too out of balance. I see bad things as far as family dynamics and dating dynamics, and those two things going forward.
I mean, the results speak for themselves. Like, we did a video not too long ago and said that most guys stop dating. So
Right.
And these were young guys. These are guys from what? I think they said from 18 to like 30.
Yeah, that's what they said.
So I mean,
and I know we always quote that poll, but again, I always wonder those guys are gonna have to go somewhere.
they probably will go somewhere.
Oh, not all of them are gonna have that opportunity. So therefore, some of those guys are gonna eventually have to make a decision. I wonder what that decision is gonna look like.
I feel like at that point they're probably gonna go completely transactional. Is what I think.
No, well, they could for a time, but I mean those guys are gonna want to have families eventually.
Yeah,
90% of them. What are they gonna do?
I don't know. But to sum things all the way up, I'm glad that the guy at least had enough respect for himself to cut the date short because it could have happened longer. But this is why it's important to always vet your dates before you go on a date. Because now that we have FaceTime, because listen, I guarantee you probably met the girl off of an app, right? That's what it seems like. It seems like this is an app date. So that's why it's important to FaceTime your date before you go on it. Because he would have avoided this entire thing, right? If he would have had a conversation with her and she would have been on the phone, she would have been like, yeah, well, if you take me here, I'm not doing this, then that's where he probably would have left it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Better screening. Because I'm not going to sit here and act as if like most women are like how she is.
No, I don't think most women are like that. But
I'm not going to say that. I just think that, like you said, you can screen out the ones that are like that better if you take other precautions. And let's be fair here. I know, listen, there are dates that women go on where the dude is totally trash.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
This is not a bashing women thing here. This video is of this entitled woman, so that's what we're covering.
I mean, this is bashing a bad date.
Essentially. Wasn't even a date. Thank goodness. They didn't go inside.
It was a car ride.
It was a car ride. That's all it was. Car ride and a conversation.
It was an epic car ride.
That's it.
Caught online.
Yep.
HD. Actually, I don't think it was. I think it was like 480.
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it was probably 40p.
All right, guys. So ultimately, I'm gonna say that she made a bad decision. He made a good decision of getting rid of her. What are you gonna say? Good decision, bad decision?
Bad decision her part. Good decision his part.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you think he made a good decision, leave a like and leave a comment. And if you think the girl is absolutely, leave a like and leave a comment. This is Bad Decision. Decision makers